Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Luna. If you do not know me, I'm assuming there's going to be some new people here today because this is a bit of a broader subject. So hello, I'm so excited to meet you. Today I'm talking about something very important to me and something that I have not seen on YouTube yet. Maybe there is, but I wanted to talk about my tips for fellow neurodivergent witches and spiritual practitioners. I think that it's funny because it's very common for people who are neurodivergent to be very in touch with their psychic abilities and their gifts, because a lot of times we are, I think it's called ESP or HSP. It's like highly sensitive people or very, I don't know the word. It's fine. I'll look it up later. We're very, very in tune with our senses. A lot of us can get overstimulated very easily. A lot of us, have issues in crowds or around people because we literally pick up people's feelings to a point beyond just I think normal empathy. It's literally we feel it, which is not fun sometimes. I can't go to Walmart or the grocery store much anymore. I like Hy-Vee. If you're a Midwesterner, you know what I'm saying. But it's very weird because the lights, and I am now going on a tangent. All that to say that if you are a witch, you might be neurodivergent. And if you're neurodivergent, you might be a witch, especially if you're watching this video. But yeah, so they're very corollary. And I feel like I haven't seen people talk about it. So I talked a little bit on my podcast, which I'll link below. It's called Good Witch, Bad Bitch. It slaps. About my mental health and kind of what I've went through with that. But I will give you guys a very brief explanation just to kind of introduce myself. You guys can let me know in the comments, what's your diagnosis? That's what me and my friends do when we meet each other. So I was first diagnosed with depression and anxiety when I was 18, which I was yeah, but I don't think that's it. I went on Zoloft and it was very bad. It was a really bad reaction for me. I know I'm not trying to scare anybody. Lots of people do really well on Zoloft, but I don't think that was the correct diagnosis for me. And so that's why I think it didn't work. I ended up my dissociating went a lot further, and I was very numb to all feelings, and I'm a 4 Enneagram, so I would rather feel negative feelings than feel nothing. So that was strange. I got off Zoloft and I kind of boycotted therapy, which bad luck. But I later went back and they're like, sis, you got PTSD, hun. You need help. And I was like, damn, bro, you right. Verbatim. And then also he was like, by the way, well, that's not really how it went. So basically also I'd done a lot of research because I kept seeing memes and TikToks about ADHD, and I was like, that is so what I do. That really is. I did a lot of research, and I was kind of stuck between ADHD and bipolar, and I was like, I don't know. So I went to the psychiatrist, and I did all these tests. He was like, yeah, you have ADHD. And I was like, that's not surprising, actually. It was a very liberating diagnosis for me. I know so many people, especially women, don't get diagnosed until they're an adult because, especially with women, we just don't show typical symptoms of it in our childhood. Looking back, I see it all. I really do. I my hyperfixation. I have the combo version, so I get hyperfixated and then I get depressed and I can't do anything. And so I deal with executive dysfunction. I deal with, what's that other one called? Rejection? Something? I've learned a lot. I just had my diagnosis in the beginning of this year. So it's been a really good journey to be able to put words and science behind something that has just been floating feelings for me. And I think that has helped me a whole lot. And I am on meds. So we will get to that because that's going to be part of this. that's a little bit of my background. You guys can feel free to share whatever you want. You don't have to share anything you don't want to, but if you'd like to connect in the comments, we can talk about it, talk about our shared experiences and misdiagnoses, because it happens a lot. I was very lucky that the first medicine I got put on worked really well, so I didn't have to play around with finding the right one. But I wanted to share some tips of being a witch with some kind of neurodivergence. And neurodivergent, if I'm not incorrect, I will definitely look it up and put it here if there's anything else, but it's anything that's not neurotypical. So it's depression, anxiety, ADHD, autism. It's so much stuff. So there's a lot, and it's hard to sometimes be neurodivergent in a world that is very focused on neurotypical people. So I made a list of my tips for people with ADHD or any kind of neurodivergence who are entering the field of witchcraft or really diving into their spirituality, because when working with the mind, and you've got a mind that's different, it can be challenging. And I've definitely had instances that I'll talk about where I felt like I wasn't good enough because I wasn't able to focus as much as I think other people could. So my first tip is kind of a big one. Don't be afraid of medicating. Now, I'm not going to tell you to be on medicine or to not, because that's not my place. I think we all have different journeys, and I think we all have different reasons. And, I chose to not medicate when I was depressed after my Zoloft, and I'm choosing to medicate now. It's 100% your decision. There's no right or wrong. It's about you doing what's best for you and what feels right for you. So, all that aside, if you do want to medicate and you're feeling nervous, I really would want you to not feel nervous. When I first got my diagnosis, and I was uneducated about it, obviously, I was nervous about being medicated because in my mind, for some reason, I was like, what if my ADHD is what makes it so easy for me to connect to the spiritual realms, which in hindsight is very a weird thought, because yes, for me, my sensitivity is so important with my psychic abilities and my connecting to the divine and doing tarot and whatnot. But when you're on medicine, at least in my case, it allows you to focus better. It allows you to balance your time better. So it's allowing you to exert your energy better and still have the same amount of sensitivity. So in hindsight, it doesn't make sense. It was kind of a silly thought. But I genuinely was scared, and I was like, what if I get on this medicine? I'm not funny anymore. Like, what if I can't do tarot readings? Like, I was nervous. I didn't have anyone to talk to, and I just didn't know what I was doing. So I was really nervous. I found a Reddit page that said that their medicine helped their ADHD because they were able to focus, which is what it's been like for me. So if you are wanting to, but you're nervous that you're not going to be able to do the same stuff that you were before, I would say if you get the proper medicine, you will be able to do the stuff you did before with more energy, more organization, and more productivity, because you're able to focus your time, not get distracted as much, and that's if you remember to take your medicine, which I'm the queen of forgetting. But yeah, so do not be afraid to medicate. Again, it's 100% your decision, but if you want to, don't think that it's going to take away who you are, because it's not. It's just going to help you. And that is if you find the right one. I know a lot of people have to go through a bunch to find the one that works best for them. So, okay, my next tip is to find ways to incorporate your craft when you are dealing with difficulty in motivation or feeling like you can't get out of bed. Because I know in my low phases, it's so hard. So some tips that I have for you, I have a tarot app that I use that if I just cannot get the energy to pull my daily tarot card, I will use that. I've used Labyrinthos, and I've also used Mystical Monday, and I like both of those a lot. So that's what I've used for my daily tarot. I think if you are putting in the intention and asking your spirit guides to help you with an interpretation, I think it works just the same. I think it's always worked really well for me. And also, I have a meditation app that I've been using. It's called Aura. I did a whole video talking about how I incorporate that in my mindfulness, which I will link below, but that's really nice because there's even like 3-minute meditations, so that when you're just like feeling like you can't focus or you feel like you don't have a whole lot of time, you can at least like exert something and still just like be in bed. And with that, bed stretches, that's my go-to when I'm depressed, because I've tried to incorporate daily yoga into my life. It's sometimes successful, sometimes not. And sometimes just being able to do stretches in bed instead really is better for me. So don't be afraid to incorporate those hacks, if you will, into your life, because it's really important to be able to know what you want to do. And if it's that you want to do daily tarot, but you wake up and it's just like you can't, it's good to have other ways to do that. Obviously, if you can muster up the energy and do it, that's perfect as well, but just for those days where you feel like you can't. To kind of piggyback off of that, this is less of a tip and more of an advice. Don't feel bad if you don't complete your spiritual work. It's not lazy, it's not bad, you're not a bad witch or a bad spiritual person. Like, I have that all the time where it's like I set daily tarot, daily meditation, daily yoga that I'm going to do. And some days, like, I just feel like I can't. And I think that's fine. And I think the main thing that you should focus on is your mental and your physical health and well-being, and your emotional as well. And so if it's going to help you to be in bed all day, then, like, that's fine. Like I said, you can incorporate those, like, little tips into doing tarot in bed or yoga in bed or whatever. But don't feel bad and do not beat yourself up over it, because it's hard. And I feel like on the internet, it's lots of like, look how cool, I do this every day. I did my yoga and my meditation and my tarot, and I eat a good breakfast. Every single day I wake up at 6 a.m. And it's like, cool, that's nice for you. Love that for you. But like, and I definitely, like, in some videos, like, appear super put together, which is really funny because it's not true. Because it's not true for anybody. So just know that, like, no one's out here perfect all the time. And so if you slack on your tarot for a week, whatever, like, you'll get back to it. It's the fact that your intention is good and that the number one thing is yourself. And if it's gonna, like, genuinely, like, be so hard for you to get out of bed and to do your tarot, then, like, that's probably not what you should do. That was a ramble. Okay, this next advice is something that I think is very important, and it is to be very mindful of what you're reading and what you're seeing on social media, kind of like I said, because a lot of it, I think, has good intentions, but I think can be slightly othering to people with neurodivergence. I've been reading this book for, like, months, which is probably a clue. It's a really good book, and I really like it. There's this one thing in it, and it was like an activity to work on focus, and it was like, oh, just do this thing, and do it until you have to do the whole thing, and then you can't have any intrusive thoughts or any thoughts other than the thing. If you do, you have to start over. And I was like, word, I got this. And I didn't got that. I didn't have it. It was really, really hard, and it said in the book, like, yo, this will be kind of hard. And it was hard, but this is not the book's fault, but I was like, man, this is like the first practice. Like, this is like one of the first, like, I was really beating myself up. I was really feeling inadequate, and I was really feeling like very invalidated as a witch and as like a meditation person, because I was having a real hard time doing it. And it was a good practice. At the end of the day, I finally did do it. It was a good practice, and I do think it helped me, but I wish that there would have been just like a little like, hey, if you struggle with focusing, this might be extra hard. Be nice to yourself, which is like not necessary. That should definitely come from the person, but this is me telling you to be nice to yourself when doing those things and reading those books where it's like, yeah, just do this intense meditation and, like, don't think about anything else. And if you do, you have to start over. Totally do that if you want, but, like, if you have to start over a million times, don't think less of yourself, because you're working with a lot more. You're working with a lot more than most people, which, honestly, listen, I have a lot of cool things I can do with my mind, so I think that's a gift. So don't beat yourself up over that. Another little tip I have for you is to read books from find witchy creators and Instagrammers who are also neurodivergent. I feel like a lot of us are pretty vocal about it because, I don't know, never thought about it. I think we are like more vocal because I think it's a tight-knit community. I think that it is a lot in the witchy community as well. But I just think that, I don't know, maybe we don't give a fuck, which is good. I think it's nice to surround yourself around people who understand you and who can give you tips and who can motivate you and really empathize with what you're going through. So, yeah. I will try to find and list some witchy spiritual creators who are neurodivergent below. I have a couple of tiny little tips that I will give you. This is like a little one. Don't feel bad about having like a million journals because I know that for me, I have to have things very organized, color-coded. It's a fun like duality of like everything's a mess, but then like I will not look at this unless it is color-coded and beautiful. So don't feel bad, because if it helps your brain, if it helps you to understand things, if it makes you feel better, then why would you feel bad, you know? So that's just a small tip. And the last thing I've kind of touched on, but do not ever put yourself down, because I don't mean to be all like optimistic, you know, but I do think that being neurodivergent is a gift because it allows you to have such, like I said, a heightened sense of everything. And I think it can really help you in your spiritual practice, working on your clairs. I know this past year, like in meditation, like I've had some sick experiences with just developing like my clairvoyance and my clairsentient and my clairaudient and my claircognizant. Like all of it has been doing so much better and really improving. And I think that us being so sensitive and feeling and, you know, stuff, I think that really helps the practice. So those are my tips for you guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions at all, please do leave them down below and I will try to answer them. You can follow me at Seranova for more of my energy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video, and you can support me at my podcast if you would like. That's all. Thank you all so much. I love you, and I'm sending you all the best energy, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.